Hoopla, and thank you for visiting. This is going to be a honest take on how I stay healthy, the myth versus the realities of what it may look like on Facebook and what it looks like in reality for me on a daily to day basis, and some of the things I do, and some of the things I tell other people as well because it's worked for me for a long time. And I'm not saying that everything's perfect, and I'm just saying that my knowledge is experiential, and so some might call it anecdotal, but it comes from working at a health food store for many years that we had in our family. Also, from a lot of years of living, being a dancer for many, many years, and also being a hoop dancer for many, many years, and teaching as well. So, and I have had my hip to hula business for 11 years now, so far, so good. So, one of the reasons why I try to stay healthy is so that I can do the things I want to do for as long as possible. So, currently I'm in my 50s, so that's awesome. I'm very happy and blessed to have been, have made it here. But this is prompted by a comment from somebody that I went to high school with who said he was having to pop Vicodin every day just to be able to move. And that a picture that I posted doing splits, it would be really nice to be able to do that. Okay, so here's the reality of that. I'm not necessarily able to do splits every day. Okay, so the myth is, possibly what you may see on Facebook and stuff like that, but also a pose that looks like this, where you just see this and it looks like I'm standing, that's a little bit of a trick pose, okay? So there's that. So photography could add a lot, but also one of the things, the reality is that I actually really do believe in dancer technique and keeping your body as safe as possible. So I do try and warm up, and it's more and more necessary to be able to do that as I get older. And there are days, the reality is, that I wake up and I don't move as quickly as possible. I don't have as much energy. So, a little bit of caffeine helps. I don't try and do very much caffeine. I do try and do green tea and B vitamins. Those are my two secrets. And so when I say no meds, I'm trying not to, I'm not a coffee drinker. I got off of coffee on purpose a long time ago. I was an avid 2-pot coffee drinker, 2 pots a day. Yeah, 2 pots a day, 1 pot a day, something like that. Ridiculous. Now I drink like 2 pots of tea, but a lot of it is either very low caffeine, and it's on like 1 tea bag. When I say a pot of tea, it's on seriously 1 tea bag. So, it's very balanced on that. And that's me personally. So one of the things I try and do is hydrate a lot. I don't just buy bottled water, but I refill them. And I refill them with good water. So that's another one of my secrets of how I try and stay healthy. Now, I would like to say that I drink as much water, and I'm drinking water all day long, and I'm staying hydrated and properly hydrated. I would like that to be true. That's not necessarily always true. But hydration is really key, and when I remember to do it, that is awesome. Here's a little trick that I do too. I like to put a little label on the water bottles. I wash them, reuse them, and all that kind of good stuff. I also have some nice water bottles too, but these are easy, and if I leave one behind, it's not the end of the world. So, but I write like a little something nice on there. There was a Japanese, I'm not sure if he was a doctor, but he did this really famous book, and it did these messages with crystals, with the messages that were on water sources, and what the crystals looked like when they had positive things attached to them. So it's basically about taking on the energy of things like that. So I do try and put in a lot of positive input. That is one of my realities of what I try to do. Now, is that a myth or a reality? So, I would like to say that, the the reality of it is I try to stay positive as much as possible. Do I always stay positive? Does any human ever do all the things I ever want to do? No. But I try to deal with things as best as possible in the ways that I can. So some of my tools and techniques that I use are trying to rephrase things in the moment. So if I'm having a bad moment, bad day, bad whatever, I try and get into the gratitude moment. What is this thing here to teach me? What can I learn from it? What's the lessons? Yeah. So that's one of my tools and tricks that I do with that. And so I try and use positive words as much as possible. And do I always do that? No. That's reality. So the myth would be like I live in a rosy-colored world and all that kind of good stuff. That's a myth. Complete myth. So, but the reality is that I do try and stay positive, and I try and look at the bright side of things. And I really try. This is totally honest. I really try and live my life with humor all the time, throughout all the moments of the day. I mean, you can find me making some cracks at a funeral. Yeah, bad timing and poor taste or whatever. But the point is that my friends know that if they're going to talk to me, that I'm going to probably cheer them up. I'm going to try and make them smile. I'm going to try and pull something out that is going to lighten and brighten. And usually, if they're in pain of some kind, as my husband says, my first thing to say, my first thing for physical pain is arnica. Arnica. It's a homeopathic. You can use it topically, cream. You can use it as a sublingual underneath the tongue. It goes right into the bloodstream, and it helps your body recuperate better and heal itself. It helps the body do its own thing. So when I say with no meds, homeopathy is not considered like a Western medicine type of thing. So as opposed to a one of the reasons why I don't use a pain medication, I try to stay away from ibuprofen as much as possible. It's like my last resort if I must, or if something really serious happens and I do really need to rest and recover, then I may do something like that. And of course, I do believe in doctors. It's not like I don't believe in doctors, but I choose to use doctors for knowing what's going on and then making my own decisions on what I'm going to do with it. And I've learned that through my own series of all kinds of things in my life of health issues that I've gone through. One being skin cancer. I have a big, huge scar here from going through the Western medicine approach of taking out this teeny tiny thing and slicing up the majority of my arm to do to get this one small thing out. So even though I had gone through some alternative means of healing and I wanted to verify that it was gone, but because of their methodologies, the American Medical Association would not allow for that approach. It's either we slice and we do everything according to our procedure, or you do it on your own and you're on your own. And I just wanted to verify, so I could not use them for the biopsy to figure out, if what I had done had worked, which I kind of knew it did, but I couldn't verify that with the medical stuff. So I went through that once, and then I had another biopsy done for something else, and they said, you know my philosophy on stuff now. You can cut on me once, and we're not going there again. So I will deal with it myself. But at least if I know what the spot is, So I do use medical stuff for diagnosis. But I'm not a person to go running to the doctors for everything. It's time intensive. It's financially intensive. It's stressfully intensive. It's a lot of things. And one of the things that I learned from working in the health food store and working with a lot of people that came in with a lot of different things, and we had a lot of really good references of things that we could go to. So it wasn't just our opinions on things. And I learned a lot from those people and from all of the books that we had available to us to go research. But one of the things I learned is that stress causes the majority of stuff. It just does. Stress, and now, that has translated into inflammation is more the buzzword these days. But stress is, and stress can be good or bad. So that's another myth about, that all stress is bad. Getting married is a stress, is a major life stress. But it's, most people wouldn't consider it a bad thing. So, getting divorced, then most people might, put that in the bad category or whatever. But, for a lot of people, that might be an opening, an opportunity to change your life for good. So, first of all, how the myths and the realities versus that is, how do you see it? And what's your perspective, what you want to see out of it, what you want to take out of it, whatever lessons that you want to learn out of it. So everything that I've gone through personally, even the down things, those are things that you learn from. And so I feel like I'm better prepared to, deal with the next thing, because I have a basis of experience of doing things. And, life is an adventure too. So, sometimes you just need to try new things. So the things that, when I teach my students and when I work with people and I coach people, they're, the thing that worked for you back here might not work for you in the same way now. Our bodies change. Our hormone levels are different all the time. Our bodies are different on a daily basis, let alone monthly, yearly, life cycles, and the things we're going through. You can call them stress, or you can just call it life or whatever. But the things that you're going through, so maybe you have more happy things going on, or more, up and down things, where your life is a little bit more of a roller coaster, or more, things are swirling around down for a while, until you figure out how to get that spinning back up again. There are things that you can do that can help you. So when I get into those points, physical activity is one of those things that helps me a lot. Water helps. Water also helps get through a lot of stress. It helps remove toxins from the body, and it helps your liver and kidneys and your lymph system do all the things it needs to do. Helps flush out the cells. So that is really awesome stuff. So water, number one. Laughter. Seriously, laughter. Yes, laughter. So when you are laughing, you are breathing. So if you are one of those people that goes, meditation, because I'm going to say meditation next. But if you're like one of those people that go, I can't quiet my mind, I can't do meditation, I don't like meditation, whatever. Stop whining, and also try it, and try it at different times. I have tried many things to get to the points that I do. So, I didn't start meditating. I wasn't an avid meditator. I didn't do yoga. I wasn't an avid yoga person. I didn't believe in it. I wasn't a hooper. Now all of these things, I didn't, if you would have told me I would drink green juice voluntarily, I would have laughed your butt out the door, because that would be really, really funny to me. Now, when I drink a juice, like the greener it is, it's like, bring on the green. It's like, oh, do you have fruit in there? Can you put in more green stuff instead of the fruit? Can you take the sweet stuff out? Like, I didn't think I'd be that person, and those words would come out of my mouth. So, the fact that we can grow and develop and change, but I didn't start out at that level. So it was baby steps, and it was, baby step, and going up, and then falling back down, and then going up and falling back down, and going up a little bit, falling down just a little bit. So sometimes you fall a lot more. So it doesn't mean that your journey is done just because you fall backwards a little bit. So that's another myth and reality, is that, the journey is linear. The journey hops around, and, it goes forwards and it goes backwards. And that is a really hard pill to swallow sometimes, of, knowing that it's not all, the American version of like, there's a pill for that. And my joke is, there's a cream for that. But that we want instant gratification, instant results, instant things without the work. And it takes effort. So it takes effort to drink water. It takes effort to be physically active. It takes effort to do the things that you, in your heart of heart and mind of minds, know what to do. You know these things. These aren't earth-shatteringly new things. Some of the concepts that I've encountered, like maybe arnica or, something else, how laughter can help oxygenate your blood, and that dis-ease cannot live in highly oxygenated cells. So the more that you can oxygenate your body and take nice deep breaths, and laughter is one of the easiest ways to do that, then do those things. Those are really easy. Do you want a doctor to tell you this stuff? Probably not. Do you want somebody funny and humorous and holding a hula hoop to try and tell you this stuff? Maybe. I hope so. Because I hopefully make this fun. Because, yeah, life is a journey. It's experiential. You will figure it out. And some of the things you'll go, oh, that was easy. And then some of the things that are like, wow, that was challenging, really challenging. And I'm using euphemistic words so that I don't swear as much. So I just moved, and I tried to stop swearing. I still swear. I do. But I swear a lot less now. So I drop the F-bomb a lot less now. And because also I'm trying to have a happier perspective on things. So this is a choice that I'm trying to make, and it's an effort. It's a serious effort. That's like drinking some water. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to bust some myths and give you some hints and tips of things that I do, and hopefully this has helped. And also, just because you're here and you may go, hey, aren't you the Hoopla girl? I don't want to leave you hanging there. So, and also, I'm working on flexibility stuff these days. So I want to give you a couple of hints and tricks that I do for flexibility. So one of the things is to not just stretch on cold muscles. So, and if you hear that this is really loud in here, I'm in the sunroom, but it's raining like a banshee out there. So, and it's on a metal roof, so it's going to get loud. So anyway, you can work out with your hoop or not, but one of the things that I like to do is get some aerobic activity going so that you get some blood flow going to the muscles before you stretch. So I like to, whenever I teach people how to be flexible, please make sure you're working with a warm body. So I don't care if you do some shoulder rolls, some chest isolations, some, just sit there and waddle your hips a little bit, get the feet tapping. So, do all of these things so that you can get into these flexibility stretches. So one of the things you can do is you can grab the feet. You can grab, feet, when I say feet, I'm actually grabbing a little bit higher. When you do grab your feet, make sure, this is a dancer tip and trick, reality that I do, make sure you don't curl your feet as you're trying to stretch and flex, because you're going to teach your muscles to do something not a great position. So you want to give some really good positioning here. So this is what we call, kind of a dancer's pointed toe. So I'm reaching underneath the instep here, and I'm curling that toe over. So now I have a pretty decent arch from years of being a dancer and stuff like that. But you can even just, flex. Okay, we'll do this here. Flex and point, flex and point. And you're going against, and you're using resistance. So you're using your toes. Now at first, that might cramp up a little bit, because if you're not used to doing stretches and stuff like that, or any type of stretches of that particular type, and I don't mean any type of stretches, but like maybe you're just working on this toe flexibility for the moment, and you want to get to that beautiful arch kind of thing, where that dancers, they have their toes pointed, and then they do this with the back toe, and they have that like all pointed up, and it's a pretty, and it extends out the line. So right now, that almost like cramped me up. So I'm going to, the reality is that's a pretty look, or the myth is that that is a pretty look that comes very easily. The myth is like, oh, this, everybody should be able to do that. That is a myth, okay? The reality is that that takes time to develop, and that, you know, if you're not properly warmed up, you might need to relax out a little bit, you know, move things around. So after that, if I'm cramping up a little bit, I'm going to take the feet, roll them out. And this is just one example of flexibility. You could be doing this with any part of your body, with splits, with flexibility with the arms, where whatever the posture and the positioning is that you would like your body to be at. So I'm just using the feet and the ankles as an example. So getting that beautiful stretch and flex, stretch, flex, stretch, flex, stretch. And then here's a nice little trick that I've learned, is that you can use resistance to get some of those as well. And you're moving through like a paintbrush. I always tell my students, you use your foot like a paintbrush. So don't just go bam, 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 bam. It's not two positions, 1, 2, 1, 2. It is through. It is the position through. So that is a really nice thing to do for flexibility. So I hope that you've enjoyed that. And that's just one tip on, you know, just getting flexible with the feet and ankles and toes, of getting that in a nice point going. Now this is another myth and reality. Okay, myth is that, oh, wow, this is just, I'm holding my leg up here. I'm actually balancing my leg with my arm. Okay, this is a photo trick. Okay, that's the reality, okay? Myth, reality. Look, I can hold that right there. So I look like I'm doing that, but the reality is I'm holding the leg up. So I watch a lot of people do some photos where they're holding their leg up, and that is fine, by the way. You can totally hold your leg up, because, and I highly recommend it. And also, here's an added bonus tip note, is that you want to do both sides. So not just working out one side, do both sides. So, myth, reality. Myth, reality. Okay, so, but then as you build to these levels, step by step, practice by practice, steps forward, 2 steps back, all that kind of good stuff, you will build this, and you're building strength, endurance, and flexibility. So it's not just about, and balance as well. So for instance, you know, if I want to be able to hold this up in the air, that doesn't just come overnight, and I can't hold that for 30 seconds necessarily. Maybe if I'm properly motivated, I'm not sure. You'll hold $1 million in front of me, and they're like, oh, I'll go for 60 seconds. I will be totally cramped, and then I will have to pay for that later. But I can do that. But the reality is that that's not a good idea. So you want to do it in short increments. You want to be warmed up, and you want to have these nice postures. But that balance, that flexibility, that endurance that it takes to hold a muscle in place. So, you know, even if you're doing a selfie or something like that. And also, a myth versus a reality on all these selfies. Yeah, myth is that it goes in one take. Reality is that there might be 100 takes. There might be 100 shots. There might be 100 takes of that video to get that one perfect shot that just looks effortless. And there's a lot of effort that goes into it. So, myth versus reality. All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick with me. If you haven't already, to subscribe to my channel, please do so. Hit the thumbs up, hit the comments below. I would love to hear what some of your tips are, what has helped you stay healthy over the years, what has helped you stay healthy in your body, in your mind, your spirit, your heart, and keep moving. So yes, and if you're not already familiar with Hip to Hoopla, I teach health, humor, and hooping. So, and with holistic ways. So I'm all about, you know, doing the work. So if you just want instant gratification, I'm not your girl. If you want to be yelled at, I am not your girl. If you want some positive enforcement and encouragement, then I am your girl. So I am. I love teaching with humor and positivity, and hey, this is not a perfect life. We just do the best we can. That's how it goes. So, and I also have the happy hooping habit that is an awesome thing to join as well. So come check it out over at hipthehoopla.com. I am Hip the Hoopla everywhere, so if you want to follow me on Instagram or any of the other social medias, Facebook, whatever, but please do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. Rock on, peace out, be healthy, be happy. Let's laugh. Plus, I do laughter yoga too. So, all right, rock on, peace out.